Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the brand Iscream Nails. So today I have their Holo Supreme Part 3 collection as well as their Rainbow Prisms Part 2 collection. These are available right now, so in the description box I'll link the Iscream Nails site, I'll link their Instagram page, and then I'll link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from today's video. I do also have a discount code with Iscream Nails for 10% off your order. It's on the screen as well as in the description box. But a quick disclaimer, it is an affiliate code, so I do make a small commission off of sales if you use my code. So there are 10 polishes in the Holo Supreme collection and then 4 in the Rainbow Prisms collection. 14 polishes to look at today, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Holo Cherry, and this is a brighter but fall red, and it's a linear holographic. So here's our first coat of Holo Cherry, and this one does cover really well here on this first coat. I can't make out any visible nail line after one coat. I am going to do 2 though for A, I prefer 2 coats of polish on my nails, but B, a second coat does deepen that color up ever so slightly. So I do like the color of 2 coats better than 1, but it is very opaque and I don't have any visible nail line after 1. With all of these linear holographic polishes, they will be more holographic once they're fully dried down. That's just the nature of the pigment. And then the glossy top coat will help that holographic stand out more. And then of course in direct sunlighting, it'll be absolutely blaring. You'll want some top coat for that reason, but nothing dries dull, nothing dries textured, nothing is going to be difficult to remove, and I didn't have any kind of staining with anything here. So there are 2 coats of Holo Cherry. Up next we have Life on Mars, and this is kind of a burnt orange base color, and then of course it has that linear holographic pigment to it. So here is the first coat, and that also covers really well here on this first coat. I am absolutely blown away by this Holo collection. First and foremost, everything was magnificent, and I can simply not pick a favorite. I literally love everything in this collection. Formulas are excellent to work with, no running, no pulling, no staining, and very opaque polishes. So here is our second coat, and that does cover completely in 2. It is looking a little bit more red here on video than it was in person, so I do suggest trusting the swatch photos more than the swatch video. Again, this will dry relatively glossy on its own. A top coat will help that holo stand out, and the holo will be more apparent once it's fully dry. So there are 2 coats of Life on Mars. So up next we have Keep Off the Grass, and this one is looking brighter on camera than it is in person, but it is a Shrek green base, and then it's got, of course, that linear holographic element to it. And again, very opaque here on this first coat. I was blown away by the opacity on this one. Formula is again excellent, very smooth, no running, no pulling. I had no staining on my nails. However, when I went to take this off, since the skin around my nails is so dry, it did want to get stuck in there, so bear that in mind. I probably should have put on some kind of oil or Vaseline before removing something like this, and I know better, but I didn't. So here is 2 coats, and that second coat really deepens this color up so beautifully. Again, the holo will be way more apparent in the sun after top coat and once it's fully dry, but I also just can't show holo in my studio lighting, and I have 0 opportunity during the day to do any kind of swatching, so I do apologize. There are 2 coats of Keep Off the Grass. Up next we have Maiden, and this one is a lighter robin's egg blue base, and then it does have that linear holographic in there as well. This one is the most sheer of the collection. I was still able to get full coverage in 2 coats. I don't have the longest of long nails, so if you do have longer nails than mine, you might end up needing 3, but I was very happy here in 2. This one also seemed the least holographic, but that is what happens when you put a holographic pigment in a lighter base color. However, it is still going to be absolutely blaring in the sun. Formula is much the same, very smooth, easy application. I do think all of these holographic formulas are very beginner friendly, so you don't really have to have any kind of nail polish experience. There's nothing difficult to work with whatsoever. Just like everything else, I recommend that top coat, but nothing is going to dry textured. Removal will be easy as well. So there are 2 coats of Sea Maiden. Next up we have Holoday Vibes, and this one is a turquoise greeny blue base, and then it does have that linear holographic element. This is super opaque here on this first coat. Not totally opaque, but very opaque, where if you were in a rush, had to get out the door but throw something on, you could definitely wear this one in just one coat. You'll see that a second coat does deepen that color ever so slightly, and it does bring us to full coverage, but one coat is very, very opaque. Formula is also excellent. No running, no pulling, no staining, no application issues whatsoever. Once again, I do recommend going in for that top coat. I am absolutely a broken record here, but everything is much the same. Same formula, same application, same finish. The top coat will help the holo. It'll help keep your manicure lasting, and nothing is going to dry textured, and removal is easy. So there are 2 coats of Holoday Vibes. Next up we have Holomania, and this one is a deeper kind of indigo base, and then it does have that holographic element to it. This one is pretty opaque here on this first coat. Now indigo, okay, I say indigo, but indigo is like a purple blue, correct? Because if so, this one is indigo. It's definitely a purple base, but it's got those blue tones to it, the blue-purple look to it. It is looking a little bit more blue or purple here on camera, but there are blue vibes in this one. I did get full coverage here in just 2 coats. Again, a wonderful formula to work with. No running, pulling, no staining. A top coat will help that holographic stand out to its fullest potential. It'll also keep your manicure lasting a little bit longer and help avoid chips and protect what you just painted. You are definitely going to have more of that holographic blaring in your face during the daytime and in the sunlight. So there are 2 coats of Holomania. Up next we have Double the Holo, and this one is a deeper navy blue base, and then again we are working with the linear holographic element. This is very opaque here on this first coat. I am currently wearing this as a pedicure, as well as Jocelyn. She is wearing this as a pedicure, and I did 1 coat of this on both of our toes, and it was completely opaque. Very happy with the coverage. I'm going to show you what 2 coats looks like today. It makes literally no difference in the color. It makes literally no difference in the evenness or the application. I just prefer to have 2 coats on my fingernails, and I only did 1 coat because I did 1 coat for Jocelyn's, and she would have freaked out if I did 2 on me and not on her. So we are wearing this on our toes, and I am in love with it. Here is that second coat. Again, that top coat is recommended. I didn't have any running, pulling, or staining. Nothing dries textured, and removal is easy. So there are 2 coats of Double the Holo. Next up we have All About the Holo, and this one is a grape purple base, and then again it is a linear holographic. Here's our first coat. So this one isn't as opaque as like the last one that we looked at, but it is still good coverage here on this first coat, and I was still able to get full coverage in just 2 coats. The formula on this is excellent. For some reason I just felt like I couldn't get enough polish on my brush on this first coat. So that does contribute to it looking a little bit more sheer, but an excellent formula again to work with. No running, pulling, staining, application issues whatsoever. So here's our second coat, and like you can see, this does deepen the color quite significantly, and it does bring us to full coverage. Just like all of the other holos, this is going to be way more holographic when it's dry, way more holographic after a top coat, and way more holographic in direct sunlight. I am sorry that my indoor studio lighting doesn't really show holographic, but there are 2 coats of All About Holo. Next up we have Pink Diamond, and I guess I would call this like an orchid base, and then it does have that linear holographic element to it. It is a little bit more pink, so maybe a lilac kind of base, but it's deeper, so that's the reason I went orchid. I'm not sure. It's like a pinky purple base. Magenta? Anyway, formula is again excellent. This is, I want to say, the top pick of the collection for me, but they were all so good. I just have a tendency to gravitate towards pinks more than anything else, and this one does have a hint of purple to it, which I'm usually not all about, but I feel like I've been about a lot lately. I also feel like this one is probably the most holographic in the collection, which obviously really calls to me. 2 coats for full coverage, so there are 2 coats of Pink Diamond. Up next we have Holo Deluxe, and this one is a kind of maroon base color. It's like a red, a deep, deep red pink. And this one also has that linear holographic element to it. Very opaque here on this first coat, not quite a one coater. You'll see whenever I apply my second coat, it does just fill in all of those kind of lighter spots, and it does deepen the color quite a bit. Formula is also wonderful. Of course, I can't do any kind of complaining on the formulas of these across the board. They were all magnificent to work with. I am a little bit bummed that I don't have the rest of the holos, because a whole Holo Supreme video would be just magnificent. 2 coats here. Again, you're going to want that top coat. It is going to help that holographic stand out to its fullest potential. It is going to protect your manicure. This will be more holographic when it's dry in the sun and with top coat. Nothing dries textured, and removal is easy. So there are 2 coats of Holo Deluxe. And then we have here Lost in a Mirage, and this one is it looks different in the bottle, but it's like a green to blue iridescent pearlized topper. I'm going to show all 4 of these on their own in 2 coats, as well as 1 coat over black. I love iridescent polishes, so the ones that are finer, like this one, that do have the brush strokes through it when it's dried, I prefer on their own. I do feel like the brush strokes stand out a little bit more whenever it's over a color, so I do like the iridescence and the softness of it on its own. And then when they're a larger particle, I like them as toppers. So I do prefer this one on its own. It isn't going to dry textured, and removal will be easy. So there's 1 and 2 coats. Up next, we have Magic Vortex, and this is the same kind of polish where it's a kind of more pearlized, frosted look, but this one does go to from a green to a blue. And then, of course, at extreme angles, they do have other shifty colors to it. This one had like gold and purple elements to it as well. Again, I do prefer this one on its own. It does give me kind of a mythical, almost ethereal vibe when it's built up on its own. I do think it's pretty over black, and it does help the shifty element of it stand out over black. Obviously not in this lighting, but I did try to change up my lighting for my photos. But I think I prefer these kind of more frosted looks on their own. I don't mind the brush strokes. This one and the last one do have some brush strokes that hang out. You could sponge it on if you absolutely hate that, but I do think it's beautiful. So up next we have Soul Searching, and this one has a green to gold shift, and then at extreme angles there are hints of pink and like a copper, and then all the way to a purple. So these ones, this one and the next one, have the larger particled shimmers to it that I was talking about, and you can definitely see the difference. This one doesn't have brush strokes, and it does have more of a glittery feel to it as opposed to a frosted feel to it, but this doesn't dry textured like a glitter, and removal won't be difficult. And these are the kind of polishes that I prefer as toppers. I like the other frosted look on its own, and then these larger particle ones I do prefer as toppers. Excellent formula, 1 and 2 coats. I do recommend top coat. Removal will be easy. And then here we have Time to Shine, and this one is also a clear base, larger particle, shifty shimmer kind of deal, but this one does go from a pink to a green primarily. And then at extreme angles, we are hitting hints of like that ethereal golden, not silver, but just champagne-y kind of color. This is probably the top pick of the prisms for me. I love the green to pink. I think this is so beautiful. I love this one as a topper, but I also really surprisingly enjoyed it on its own. I did do 2 coats on its own. If you want more coverage, you could do 3. You could also sponge these on. It's not going to help with the brush strokes in these ones because there are no brush strokes in these, but it is going to give a more full coverage look. And here is a final look of both of the collections together. The holos, I am absolutely digging the full rainbow of holos here. I think these are wonderful. They had a beautiful formula, very opaque, very smooth applications, 0 complaints. And then the rainbow prisms, I love that they did only 4 of them, but half of them had the frosted kind of pearled formula, and then the other half had the larger particled shimmer formula. I am more attached to the larger particled shimmers, but I do really like the frosted ones in this collection. I think they gave me a nice ethereal vibe, and then the larger particled ones really gave me my shifty glitter look without them being a glitter. So I really enjoyed everything in today's video. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these polishes. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.